is fantastic, and there's circles within circles there. So basically, what I'm hearing is that, look, everyone has different circumstances. Some people have a wide band, a big bandwidth of potential, and other people are very limited. They're struggling, and I think it's important that, and I know that you are very much talking about. You talk about value. You don't talk about necessarily wealth. You talk about value, and it's so important. And I think so. One of the things that I think a lot of people make a big mistake about is when you talk about sound money, they think, oh, well, maybe cash. I know when you fired that little gun off with, yeah, that was it. That was it. I never forgot it, and I'd never seen one before, and I love it. But essentially, we need to start right there, because some people think, well, look, I've got some cash. Is that sound money? Well, perhaps give your thoughts on that.
Well, cash is definitely not sound money. And what is reaching for is my little pouch of a whole bunch of currencies that really do not exist anymore because they were inflated away. So sound money really is above the central bank's ability to inflate its value away. It's not gold going up, although right now it is because of the fears of, it is evolved as the only safe haven trade. Look at what's happening with the dollar and the loss of global confidence in the dollar. And recently, we just had, in my opinion, a very key pattern shift in consumer sentiment, where it is really plunging, but it broke a significant support level, which means the most likely next outcome is for that to continue to decline. And that's the only thing. It's the consumer's confidence and the public's confidence in this garbage is the only thing that's holding the system together and preventing that hyperinflation. But with what I'm seeing, I believe, as you and I spoke about last year, the technicals were telling me that we've already begun the hyperinflationary move. It's just not obvious to the public. I think this year it could start to become very obvious to the public, and then it builds on itself.
And all the clues are there. So when you go down the grocery store, how can one ignore what's happened there? And so really, and it works. So you suddenly think, well, hang on, it's costing me more dollars, pounds, euros, yen, whatever it is, to buy the same basket of goods. Well, actually, so when you talk about gold going up, I know what you mean is just costing more dollars, euros, pounds to buy the same piece of gold. And therefore, that is your wealth. That is, when you talk about wealth protection, you're really, what you're saying is, obviously you need some cash to meet everyday bills and one thing and another. But anything in excess of that, I think I remember you talking about this. Look, please think about it. Put it somewhere where it can't be debased. And I think that's what you're talking about.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. And, and also, remember too, markets are very volatile right now. They're going up or they're going down. But let's just say that, there could very well be one more good, solid melt up in the market somewhere in our future as the public starts to really recognize the loss of value in dollars. But if whatever you do can only be converted into dollars, then it really doesn't matter how many you have. I have somewhere in this mess a $10 trillion Zimbabwe note, and I cannot even buy 3 eggs with it. I can buy nothing with it. So people get blinded by numbers, and the system, the governments and the central bankers and Wall Street use this to create that nominal confusion, because you see those numbers go up, and up. For me, gold is not a trade, neither is silver, and it never has been. It is an insurance policy, and it's also a positioning tool. Because right now, and especially in the US, the asset values still remain severely overvalued because of all of this money printing that they did. That money has to go someplace. And especially when it's free, why not? And we've seen the rise of, I want to bring up stable coins because I know that that is something that President Trump, this administration, is choosing to push because CBDCs are too distasteful. The public doesn't trust them. So that Trojan horse, but the stable coin is 99% of all the stable coins issued are, you have to back them with, they're attached to dollars. They're pegged to dollars. So what I see happening is that this administration, as the demand for dollars around the world declines in terms of governments and corporations, they're trying to create new demand for dollars going directly to the public and bypassing the banks and the corporations, etc. And it's really scary because people will buy that thinking that if it's backed by this, it's stable. But no, if it's backed by that, or if it's pegged to that, means tied to it, it's going to do exactly what the dollar does. It won't save you. It'll just take you out of the frying pan directly into the fire.